that was working very, very hard for their hard-earned money. So this is like self-employment gigs. And we have here the Four of Swords. I feel almost as if there is a lot of financial considerations that you are discussing with another part, like with a partner. So it feels almost as if, finances, career, and work might have interfered in your relationship. And so you're doing some major, major reassessment, taking stock, discussions with your significant other, either a marriage partner or your relationship partner. And so you're having these serious work discussions about finances with, another person. And then for others of you, financially, you might not be in the right space for you to have that excess money, have that excess financial abundance in order to pursue a relationship partner. So I feel like finances really affected your ability to date, your ability to meet people, your ability to really put yourself out there. And what I'm sensing as well is this is going to be something that's coming through in this month. And I also feel as if, financially, if you're not making a lot of money, I feel like it affected your self esteem. So even though you were looking for love, you might have dated people that were just not right for you. So like when our self esteem is very low, we feel like, oh, I only deserve this much. And so you went for people that you feel might have been on your level. And a lot of we do that. We assume that we deserve this person. We assume that we deserve that much. And so I feel like financially, it really affected um, your ability to put yourself out there. It affected the way you feel about yourself, and it also affected, in turns, the people that you attract. And so they're telling you to overcome this. They're telling you this is a major, major obstacle for some of you. And it's not allowing the right person to come forward, okay? It's not allowing the right person to be manifested into your environment. In the past, we have here the High Priestess as well as the Four of Cups. The High Priestess, in the reverse position, it's almost like knowing something is not good for you and yet still going for it. And the Four of Cups is a situation in this spread. It basically indicates options are available for you, but you're still dwelling on something from the past. And I feel like there was a situation where you were involved with somebody that either had a lot of secrets and you felt, or you had a lot of secrets. So they're saying, like, in the past, you had a lot of options, and I feel like you were looking for a specific option, and you were waiting on a specific person amidst all of these options, and the person never materialized, or they never came through. And then I feel some of you are involved with in a situation where there might have been some hidden information, something that was left unsaid. And I feel like some of you might even have to leave an engagement or a marriage situation behind. Like they're saying broken marriage, broken engagement, or something like that. It might have happened within the past 4 years, okay? Which brings us to the foundation. The foundation, we have the Nine of Swords as well as the Strength card. Both of these things coming out like this basically indicates to me overcoming our fears, okay? Tackling our fears head on, having those confrontations or even those conversations to allow you to get answers to some questions. So I feel like a lot of things were left unsaid between you and another person, and it's really important for you to be the one to clear the air if you want answers, if you want closure, or if the other person is asking you for answers or closure, that you fess up. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of communication that needs to happen, and there's also a lot of like these initiate conversation that message came through. I feel like you are very hesitant about doing so, and it would be in your best interest to try to resolve it so that you can move on. Crowning this reading, this is something that you're thinking about. We have here the Ten of Coins. You're thinking about, compatibility. You're thinking about settling down, and you're thinking about like finding that person that you can start building a life with. So the career, the cars, the house, the child, and then the dogs. Like you want something in a very systematic manner. Like you want something like in a very organic way. So I feel like you want to build up things from scratch, from the ground up, and you want it to be a very, very specific way. And then others of you, you are in relationship with somebody, and I feel like you're trying to take the relationship to the next level with the Four of Wands here. So this is an escalation of like marriage, you know, like asking somebody, thinking about proposing to somebody, or in a relationship with someone. You're in a relationship with someone, and you're thinking about proposing. You're thinking about matrimony. You're thinking about taking the relationship to the next level. So very, very good card. Coming through in the future position, we have here the Nine of Wands as well as the Star. The Nine of Wands is pretty much, you know, this is a card about healing, okay? And this is a card about being wounded in the past and not being able to move on. And so I feel like some of you are carrying a chip on your shoulder regarding your financial situation. And your financial situation, I feel like it's not matching up to the life that you want, to the marriage situation that you want. So I feel like, on the one hand, you want the relationship, you want the love. But on the other hand, I feel like you are starting, there's a lot of psychic energy coming through in this spread. And it feels almost to me as if the month of February is the month where you are going to have to confront some truths about yourself. So I feel like the whole concept of expectations and reality is coming to light. So it's like you want the house, right? You want the house. You want the stability. You want a person to come home to. But I honestly feel a lot of you are not ready. And you might do things to sabotage the relationship because you're deeply not ready. And if you're not able to confront these things within yourself, you will successfully sabotage a really good relationship. Um, Especially for those of you who are dealing with air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, as well as fire signs, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. I feel like you have a really good partner on your hands, and somebody that you really get along with, and somebody that you really like. But I feel that you might self-sabotage because deep down, um, you're not ready financially. You're not where you want to be, and there might be pressure to get married. And rather than delaying the conversation, I feel like you feel rushed, you feel pushed, you feel like things are happening beyond your control. And so they're telling you, you know, take a step back, regain control of your life. So if certain areas are you're not happy with, you need to fix those areas before you can invite another person into your life. So I feel like that's what's happening here. And then others of you, you want that ideal, like that marriage, that stability, that home, the dogs, the kids, you know. But I feel like emotionally, you're not ready to have that commitment. You're not ready. And I feel like you're starting to confront these issues within yourself. And it's a very uncomfortable process when we have to, you know, admit things to ourselves. So I feel like that's what's happening here. It seems like the cards are showing me, you know, discomfort, are showing me like a lot of spiritual insights are trying to come through for you. But it seems like you're blocking them out. It feels almost as if you're like, I'm overwhelmed. I can't deal with this right now. So there's a little bit of guilt. There's a little bit of like denial as well with the High Priestess in the reverse position. So you have some issues that you need to work through here, Cancers. And because the card is showing up here as your card, it basically means you are the one that is in control. And without your go ahead, the this situation is not moving along anywhere. So you need to make sure that you are okay with it. And you need to make sure that that's what you really want, heart, body, and soul. Because I feel like you're buying time. I feel like you're stalling something because you're not ready. But rather than telling the other person you're not ready, you just buy time and you don't communicate. I feel like that's what's happening here. And then on top of that, I honestly feel some of you, okay, so very, very good card. Um, they're saying as well, some of you might be, I don't know why, but I keep seeing like your home environment might be a place where you work from. But it's weird because I'm not seeing the self-employment card. So I feel like your home environment, there might be supplies, there might be a lot of inventory that you're keeping in your home environment. And so you're trying to keep your place. Like it feels almost as if there's a blur of boundaries between the home environment and where you're working. So it feels almost like the home being turned into a factory where you're producing things and selling them and generating money in terms of like a creative project. But it seems almost as if because of it, you might not even have a place that you feel as if you can retreat to. So take care of these two areas. If that sounds familiar for you, Cancers, take care of these two areas. Make sure they are worked out because you really need a comfortable home, okay? You need a comfortable home. Think of it as the home is your foundation. And without a strong foundation, you can't start manifesting. You can't have things to go your way. So you need to have that home, and then you can uh, work out of it, and then you can start to realize some dreams, some aspirations. Okay, so you need that home. In terms of your sixth house deals with health, and it also deals with work, and it also deals with daily activities like your routine. I feel like disruption in the sleep pattern. Okay, with this card, this is like the nightmare card, staying up very very late, not having a fixed schedule, or even like sleeping whenever we can, and then being woken up in the middle of the night. So I feel like there's some disruption for you guys in your sleep cycle, and I'm feeling very strongly. Some of you might have young children that are either crying or that have nightmares, and so I feel that you're going to have to stay up to take care of them. So younger children being a source where they just disrupt your sleep cycle, or you're not getting as much sleep as you need, and so this is coming through urging you to try to make time to snooze and try to clear up your home environment so that you're able to get rested. Okay. As it pertains to your work environment, this is a situation where there might have been, harsh words exchanged between you and another person. And it seems almost as if you're replaying the incident over and over and over in your head. And Cancers, you are very, very sensitive, very, very sensitive people. Like, I feel like Cancer and Pisces are very deeply sensitive. When people say hurtful things to you, it's it's like heartbreaking to look at your facial expression when people say hurtful things, because I feel like your face like scrunches up and it hurts you on a very very deep emotional level. And so I feel almost as if there might have been hurtful things thrown about within, between colleagues, between bosses, between friends, even at work. And I feel like it was something quite hurtful, and you're not able to let it go. You're not able to make sense of it, and so I feel like you're replaying the incident over and over and over and over in your head. And so my advice, in order to lessen the impact of this, is a lot of the time. So I use this analogy a lot, but you're that crab, and a lot of the times, you walk sideways. You see something that you want, but crabs, the nature is that they kind of like zigzag sideways to get to the object of their intention. And so you have a very indirect approach when it comes to things. Just whatever you do, you have a very indirect approach. And so they're urging you that, if there's something that needs to be cleared up, get to the bottom of it, clear it up. Be a little bit more direct, okay? So I feel like that's going to be helpful for you to make sense of it, because I feel like you're replaying it in your head. And everything that happens in our head seems a lot worse than real life. It's almost as if I feel like there needs to be a conversation had with another person that really hurt your feelings. And so there's opportunities for healing. There's a lot of opportunities for healing, for situations, for like getting a do-over, a second chance here. So I feel that this is something you need to resolve for the month of February, okay? Something that is really, really important for you to resolve. So I mentioned the health, work, and I mentioned the daily activity. The work situation, some of you, I feel like you might not be employed and you're looking for jobs, and it's really worrisome for you right now. And so you might have like broken off, like disbanded a previous work arrangement. You're trying to find something new, and I do feel something's going to be made available for you for this month, okay? So don't stress out too much. Use this energy, harness this energy, make it productive by, doing the job hunt, doing the follow up, honing fixing your resume, or honing down your I want to say like rehearsing your interview skills. So I feel sharpening your interview skills. I feel like that's going to be really important for you. Now, in terms of your relationship sector, we have a very good card. So we have the Chariot, and I'm just going to say this. This is your card, and it's basically telling you that you have full control. And whatever you want, you need to be a little bit more direct about your how you go about in achieving it. Okay, so this is a card about that green light, that go energy, and it's also urging you to be very, very directed, because whatever you are aiming for, you're going to be able to get it. All right. Now, in terms of your relationship sector, this is what I'm feeling. I feel almost as if you're looking at another person, and they might look very, very different from you, right? Like, you might have straight hair, your partner might have curly hair. So it's like very, very mundane things, like, physical appearance, you might be very, very different. Even like upbringing, you might be completely different. But I feel like you both, despite your differences, you both are going to be able to work together in order to achieve a bigger purpose. So the Chariot is a very, very good card that signals cooperation between two people in either a romantic relationship or a business association, like a business partnership. So this is a positive card that basically means you have somebody that you have a very strong soul connection with. This is a card about, mutual reception, like seeing eye to eye, agreeing on things. And this card basically means, despite all the differences, two people are still working together in order to move mountains. So I feel like this is a really strong card. That means that you're on the right track. The partner that you're with right now is the right person for you. And if you have any doubts in the past, if you doubted whether or not it's the right person, I feel like this is coming in as confirmation, okay? So if you've had to break up with one relationship in order to